Welcome back to the Positive Podcast. Glad you're tuning in. The host, Jeremy, Todd. A couple different interviews or a couple of different podcasts this week. I'm kind of getting back in the routine of more and more content, and I just love doing it. I love getting out there and changing lives. Today, we're going to go over the 5 beliefs to be successful. We're going to get a little deep on it. We're going to get probably a little emotional on it, but it's all good in the hood because that's what we do here on the positive side. Proud to be who you are, proud to be who I am. And man, we're just going to get better together. Have you ran over to the positivesidepodcast.com, signed up for the Monday motivation? That was out yesterday. Man, it's super cool. I'm having a lot of fun doing that. And again, we're just trying to start the week off in the right way. And one other thing before we get into the podcast today, again, hey, June 15th, free class, how to have the best second half of the year of your life. We're going to crush it. It's going to be awesome. We're going to go over all kinds of things. Shoot me that email. Go to jeremytodd.com and sign up for the Monday Motivation, and I'll go ahead and put you on that list as well. Today, the 5 beliefs to make you successful. And hey, these are a little bit in your face. I mean, they're powerful, obviously. Let's just get into it. What the hell? Number 1, the belief in a dream. You know, it's interesting when I first started doing this podcast, and I'm sure you've probably thought about this forever as well, is that this big dream that you have, can it be possible? You know, there's a great question I love going when I go through my clients is when we talk about affirmations, we talk about what is that one big dream that everybody, if you accomplished it, would say, wow. And then you ask yourself, well, what if it was even bigger than that? And that's the thing about this power of a dream, the belief in a dream. Is it actually possible? Well, I'm here to tell you it is. It is 100% possible, but you got to have that belief that it is. Now, if you're out there struggling, man, and you know, times are tough, whether you're struggling financially, mentally, physically, socially, whatever that case is, sometimes that dream gets a little cloudy. Sometimes that dream may even look like a nightmare. It's like reoccurring that you haven't been able to accomplish it. And I get it. I get it. I've been there and I've done that. It's very difficult sometimes. But you have to understand that with accountability and with just, again, just a deep down belief that this crazy big dream of yours is possible. It kind of changes things. It kind of changes your outlook. It makes you think that, you know, maybe it is possible. Maybe this huge dream that I have is possible. So number 1, you got to have actually belief in that dream. Number 2, you got to have belief in a process. No one likes a process. No one likes accountability, but there's got to be a process to get to these goals and dreams, right? To be successful, you have to have a process. And this is one of the things that, hey, I've struggled with for a long, long time. It's, you know, is when you first start something. I'll use a podcast as an example. Where do you start? How do you start? How many podcasts do you? How do you do it social media wise? What's your scheduling for that? What's your scheduling for recording podcasts? And you can use this for anything. Again, starting the gym or losing weight or a diet, whatever the case is, whatever that process is, you have to have belief in that process is going to work. Because there's days that you just don't want to do it. That it's not going to happen. You're not going to jump out of bed wanting to do that, but you have to have belief that this process is going to work. I like to write down my processes. Most of my processes are in my head because I've been doing it for so long. But when you're first getting started to go for those goals and dreams, it's a great idea just to write down that process and then stick to it. Rain, sleet, or snow. I was listening to John Lee Dumas's book, and he was talking about having podcasts in the bank. And what he really meant by that was, you know, he had 6 weeks of podcasts already recorded. So no matter what happened, he would, if it rained or for him it was a hurricane, if he got sick or something crazy happened, you just never know what's going to happen when you start recording podcasts. But he had enough in the bank that it really didn't matter what happened. He trusted his process. He was doing 8 a day for forever until he got all these added up. But again, he knew the process. He knew how it was going to work, and he does one every day. Now, again, that's not for me. That may be for you. That may not be for you, whatever the case is. But whatever your process is, you have to believe in and believe that it's going to work. Extremely important. You want to help to get that process going? Shoot me an email. Number 3, belief in time. This is a big one. No matter what you do, you're not going to get rich overnight. I'm sorry to say that. If you do, good for you, but it's 1 in a billion chance, and I get it. It does happen. And a lot of times that's all the people you see too on social media. You see, oh my gosh, I did this one thing and I made $80,000 in 1 week. And hey, that's cool. I get it. That's awesome. But in reality, most of these things are going to take a long time. And that's when you go back to these other 2 beliefs we just talked about, the belief in the process and belief in the dream. All these are going to contribute to that belief in time, because the longer you do it and you see no success, man, it gets tough. It gets lonely when you're out there going for your goals and dreams and being an entrepreneur. Sometimes it's doom and gloom. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes you're like, is it worth it? Should I keep going? It's tough, but you got to believe that it's going to take time. But also, over as the time goes on, you get stronger, you get better, you get sharper. For me in podcasting, your speaking skills get stronger, your audience gets bigger. Eventually, these things are going to take time. It may take 10 years, it may take 20 years. I don't know, but you have to have belief that in time these things are going to work out for you. It's not going to happen overnight, but you got to make sure that upstairs you understand this is going to take a long time. Number 4, you have to have belief that it's going to be successful. Now, it's very similar to the belief in a dream, but the belief that you can have a dream that, man, hey, that's a cool idea. That's a great idea. I've got belief that that's going to work. And then, maybe it doesn't work out sometimes. But whatever the case is, if you have belief that's going to be successful, that's a little bit different. You have to have that belief that you're going to be successful no matter what comes your way, no matter what your family members say, no matter what your friends say. That's a shitty idea. That's never going to work. That's crazy. And I tell the story too, when I sent my first podcast out ever, when I recorded it, I sent it out to everybody on my phone. It was great. And I get all the responses back. Do you need help? Do you need money? What is this? This is crazy. A lot of people said nothing. But over time, go back to that belief in time. All of a sudden, these people are starting to understand, well, hey, maybe this guy's got something going on now. Slowly but surely it's starting to happen. And from day one, I always knew it was going to be success. The Positive Side podcast, man, that's the positive side. There's not a negative side to this, right? I mean, it's a positive side. Over time, it's going to be successful, but I know deep down in my head, I've never wavered. I can't say that. Let me take that back. I've wavered sometimes because, I'm human. But over time, I know this is going to be successful. I know by pouring my heart and my guts out there to the people that are maybe in the same exact boat that I am. Maybe you're, 30s or 40s or 20s or whatever the case is. And man, life just isn't going well for you. Things are struggling. I know for a fact, I knew that message was going to resonate with people like that because that's me. That's what I've gone through. And hey, if I can get to the positive side, I know you can. And that's that belief in success. Over time, I trusted the process and I believed in this crazy dream. And I told people about it. They didn't know what the hell even a podcast was. But at the same time, we're still going. Now, the final one kind of ties in all the rest of them. Number 5 is belief in yourself. You've got to believe in yourself. Sometimes no one else will. And that's the reality of things. Loved ones, children, parents, friends, family. No one's going to believe in you. That's reality. I mean, I'm sorry. I can't sugarcoat it any other way. You may have that support system or you may have a couple people that are going to support you, but it's reality. You have to believe in yourself because sometimes no one else will. It's always funny, even for me when I go from job to job and I'm the quote unquote positive side guy. I mean, it's just so silly, but I'm so used to hearing it now that it doesn't affect me as much as it used to because I have this belief in myself that I know it's going to work. And I know the message resonates, but I'm telling you, when times are really, really tough, that's why this vision board behind me is important. That's why positive affirmations are important because they allow me when I'm down and out, and I'm struggling, I can go back and look at this vision board behind me and rejuvenate that belief in myself that yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I can achieve this no matter what anybody else says. Yes, I'm going to make money. Yes, I'm going to be successful. Yes, I'm going to quit my job. All these things are going to happen and they're closer now than they've ever been, but you've got to believe it in yourself that you actually have the talent, the drive, the tenacity, the will to never give up no matter how long it takes. And that's why all these beliefs to me are so important. As we go through them again, let's get it. Number 1, belief in a dream. This podcast dream I had was, crazy. No one knew what a podcast was. Why would you do that, Jeremy? And again, I want you to take my example and put whatever your goal or whatever your dream is, whether it's, start your own business, start a DJ company, start a mortgage company, whatever that is, whatever this gigantic dream is, you got to have belief in it. You got to have belief in the process. You got to figure out what that process is and then go with it. It's like going back to the basics. When things start getting a little awry, you go back to the basics. You focus on that process and believe that it's going to work. And again, that turns right into number 3 is you get to have belief that in time it's going to work. It's not going to happen overnight. It may take a long time. It's going to take 2 or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years or 10 years or 30 years, whatever the case is. But you have to believe that in time, over time, you're going to get better and you will be successful. You will be, I promise you, you will be successful. You just cannot give up. Belief in the success. It is going to happen for you. Believe. Can you imagine yourself? Can you picture yourself retiring, buying that new house, buying that new car, moving, whatever the case is, working from home? That belief in the success is going to happen for you. You got to believe it deep down inside. And number 5, the most important one, you got to believe in yourself, my friends, because again, when you first start out, no one else will. I'm sorry. You're probably going to lose money. It's not going to be rainbows and butterflies. And if it does, hey, great. I'm proud of you and I'm loving it. I wish all of us can go to the bank together. But at the end of the day, you're the one that your opinion is really the only one that matters. You have to believe in yourself because no one else will. I know I've said it like 4 or 5 times over because, man, I've been there and a lot of people still don't believe in me and they're not going to believe in you. But that's why this Positive Side Nation is so important. This is an area we can all come together. We can share stories. We can share these interviews that we talk about when things get really, really bad, when people struggle, when you're down and out, when you almost die, whatever the case is. All these guests I've had on the show, one thing that's never wavered with the most successful people is the belief in themselves. And I'm here to tell you that you should have belief in yourself because you do have greatness within. Your message, your idea, your opportunity, your ability to change lives is right there in front of you. When are you going to believe it in yourself? If you haven't started, when are you going to believe in yourself? I know I have. I know I believe in you, but I can only be so much. You have to be able to flip that switch in your head to saying, you know what? And you know, it's funny. Like whenever that switch flipped for me, was when I just got tired. You know, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I got tired of not believing in myself. I got tired of things not going the way they were supposed to go. I was tired when I filed bankruptcy. I was tired when I moved around the country, tired quitting these jobs. I'm just tired. And then eventually, you know, I start believing that, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, this podcast thing is who I am. I believe in myself. I'm not going to give up. No matter how bad it's gotten, I'm not going to give up. I've had coaches, I've had accountability partners, and that makes a big difference too. And if you need if you want to hire a coach, you should email me. Let's see if we're a good fit. Jeremy@jeremytodd.com. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. It's just, you know, it's just about that belief. And it's been weighing on my mind for the last day. I just wrote them down before I started the show and just fired off what was on my heart. It's so important to believe in all these things that I went over with. And when you look at your goals and dreams, take these 5 beliefs, plug them in and see if that makes sense. And if it's not, and there's some holes, let's talk. Run over to jeremytodd.com, sign up for the Monday Motivation, go over to YouTube. All these videos are on there. Make sure we're connected on all social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. The list goes on and on and on. I believe in you. I cannot wait to hear your story. I cannot wait to hear those goals and dreams. You've got greatness within. Like always, this is The Positive Side.